Hello class and welcome to your Algebra 1 review. We are going to spend some time reviewing some algebra skills. If at any point you are reviewing and you feel like this video is going too fast, feel free to pause it or rewind it or simply start it over. If at any point you feel like you're a little confused, feel free to email me and ask me questions. We're going to start off with solving equations. When solving an equation, you need to isolate a variable. To isolate a variable, you need to do the opposite operation. And in this video, we are just going to review some kind of basic opposite operations to start. So in example 1 here, we have 3x equals 12. 3x is another way of saying 3 times x. So if I want to get rid of the 3 and isolate the x, get the x by itself, I have to get rid of the 3. Since it's being multiplied, I would divide both sides by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. And you can always double check yourself by plugging it back in. 3 times 4 is in fact 12. This next one seems a little tricky because it has a fraction. I have x over 2 equals 12. Well, x over 2 is the same thing as x divided by 2. So if I'm going to divide, to get rid of the division, I have to do the opposite, which is multiply. So I will multiply both sides by 2. The 2's cancel over here on the left, leaving x by itself. And then I have 2 times 12, which is 24. And again, 24 divided by 2 is 12. In example 3 and example 4, we deal with adding and subtracting. Example 3, we have x plus 5 equals 12. So to get rid of the adding 5, I have to subtract 5 from both sides. So 12 minus 5, that's 7. And again, if you're checking yourself, 7 plus 5, if you plug it back in, is in fact 12. This next one, example 4, has x minus 9 equals 12. The opposite of subtracting 9 would be adding 9. So to isolate x, I add 9 to both sides. 12 plus 9 is 21, and the 9's cancel. Again, we're always doing the opposite operation. Now example 5 and example 6 both deal with fractions in a couple different ways. Example 5 has 2 divided by 3 times x equals 12, or 2/3 x equals 12. I like to kind of break this into 2 different steps. So my first step will be to multiply to get rid of the fraction. So since 3 is in the bottom of the fraction, if I multiply both sides by 3, the 3's will cancel on the left, and I'll be left with 2 times x. And then on the right, I have 2 times 3, which is 36. Now, to get x totally by itself, I will divide both sides by 2. X equals 18. The next one, example 6, has x plus 1/4 equals 12. Now, a lot of times when people see a fraction, they automatically think that they have to use this trick that I talked about in example 5. But here, since it's just x plus 1/4, I have to get rid of the 4th to get the x by itself. Since it's being added, I will simply subtract. And I have x equals 12 minus 1/4. This is something where you could always go to your calculator if you felt the need, or you can apply some mental math. If I have 12 and I take away a 4th, I would be left with 11 and then 3 out of the 4. Because if I add in one more 4th, that would make a full 12. Or if you use your calculator, you could figure out that 1/4 is 0.25. And then 12 minus 0.25 is 11.75. Either way, you get the same answer. Then I have a word problem for us. If you make $10 an hour babysitting, how long will it take you to make $250? Well, if you make $10 an hour, or 10 times the number of hours you work, which I will say is H, that has to equal $250. And just like all of the other ones, 10 times H then is being multiplied by H. So I will divide by 10. 250 divided by 10 is 25. So H is 25, or if you work 25 hours, you will make $250. Again, feel free to go back and review any of this video, and then you may complete your quiz.